Anyone who has ever teed up
Yep, 142.
knows the exhilaration
That one's good.
and the inevitable frustration.
Short. Golf is a hard game for everybody, no matter what your physicality, no matter where you come from. It's an honest game and it'll treat you like everybody else.
Douglas Shirakura first picked up a club and got into the swing of things at the age of 7.
I've been hooked ever since.
Though all golfers face the hurdles that come along with that dimpled little ball, Shirakura steps into the game with a much bigger challenge.
I was born with amniotic banding syndrome. While I was in the womb, the development was hindered by basically the amniotic bands. My right foot was not fully formed, and then my hands as well.
His parents made a difficult decision that ultimately would be one turn in the path that has led him to athletic success.
They figured that I would be much better off from a younger age learning to use a prosthetic to be more active.
He not only has limited growth in both hands, he is an amputee. Shirakura says he never really felt hindered. He loved sports and decided that karate would be his game.
I kept breaking my prosthetic in karate, and eventually, I was just kind of like, all right, well, we'll stick to golf.
He found success and would eventually play in the U.S. Juniors League, but it was a conversation, an email he sent to a stranger that would open a door to not only him, but countless others who would follow.
I played my first adaptive golf tournament in 8th grade, right before high school, and I had emailed a guy named Bob Buck, who was the founder and the current director of EAGA, Eastern Amputee Golf Association, and I emailed him as a little kid saying hey, could someone like me play too? And he was ecstatic because I think I was the youngest in that field by probably 40 years.
Over the last decade, the Adaptive Golf League has grown from casual meetups to a recognized and celebrated sport. The USGA hosted the inaugural Adaptive US Open at Pinehurst in 2022. Even Tiger Woods took notice. Shirakura came in 9th.
We're expanding to kids who felt like growing up they couldn't really play a lot of sports because they're limited by what they can do. But in golf, right, there's a million ways to hit the ball, and the only thing that matters in golf is getting it in the hole.
There you go.
We met up with him at the Golf Center in Danbury, Connecticut. When he is not studying aerospace technology at Worcester Polytechnic Institute, Shirakura is here, upwards of 40 hours a week.
It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of hard work, and there are always going to be ups and downs. There are some days where you feel like you're the best in the world, and other days where you feel like, you've never touched the club.
The game is the same for both people with disabilities and those without, but the physical dynamics for those in the Adaptive League are different.
This is really all I've ever known, so even for me, a lot of the times when I'm talking to other adaptive athletes, I have this feeling that I'm not really as held back as much as them because, from a young age, I've just been really used to it.
Ironically, in an unfortunate change in circumstance, he is now witnessing that adaptation by another golfer, Shirakura's best friend, Brian Polinchuk. His caddy in the first inaugural Adaptive Open is an amateur golfer. Several months ago, he was in an accident that left his left arm paralyzed.
He always reminds me that the only reason why he can work so hard and why he believes that he can get back to playing golf again is because of the adaptive golf community.
They now draw inspiration from each other.
No matter how low it might get, it always gets better, so long as you don't let it become who you are.
Doug Shirakura played in the second U.S. Adaptive Open Golf Championship last month, which features the world's best golfers with disabilities. The youngest competitor is 15, the oldest 75 years old. Doug will be headed into his senior year at WPI this fall, and he says he is already working on ways he can combine his love of the game with his aerospace engineering skills. Coming up, from a setback to sneaker stardom.